Iran does not want to draw the U.S. in. Israel might have slightly different incentives, especially considering this is something Netanyahu has wanted to do to take on Tehran for years.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's that sort of tests the relationship between Donald Trump and Bibi Netanyahu even further, is how they will convince the U.S. to get involved in a way that, frankly, they're already quickly, I mean, this is, 24 hours old, and we're already providing military support. It's a defensive capability, but it's still, we are investing and putting our military capabilities, in effect in this conflict already. But I think, Netanyahu is pretty savvy and can try to draw Trump in ways of, playing to his personality.
And actually, to your point, that is what some of the sort of MAGA hardliners who I spoke with today are worried about. They think that Netanyahu launched this wider scale attack that didn't just target nuclear facilities, but also military personnel and scientists, in part to try to make Iran's response bigger to then draw the U.S. in. So that's exactly the fear of some of these people who do not want the U.S., do not want the Trump administration to become enmeshed in this new foreign conflict. And that's one of the things that they've been talking about today.
Right. And then you also have world leaders who are already calling for de-escalation, already urging restraint. But this comes at a moment when America's relationship with our traditional allies in many ways has been upended. Eugene, can you take us a little inside the thinking of foreign leaders, what they want, and what concerns they might have from an America under Trump right now?
Yeah, I talked to a couple of ambassadors late last night and early this morning, where basically they were just like, we don't know what Donald Trump is thinking. Our leaders don't know what Donald Trump is thinking. They saw the statement from Marco Rubio that first came out, and then they saw the tweet or the social post from Donald Trump that was like, okay, well, wait, now we're confused. We don't know what's going on. So they're not sure what to even say themselves. And so they kind of say, we hope cooler heads prevail. We don't want to war in the Middle East because that's the safe stuff that they can do. But they don't know how Donald Trump and the United States are going to lead the world, really, through this conflict. Like, what does it look like to lead in that way? And Donald Trump, like Tyler said, is not interested in the details of any of these things. He just wants these things to be over. That's another issue that these foreign leaders are dealing with. You go from, no matter whether Democrats or Republicans, as presidents, they typically cared about the details of these things. They wanted to be on the world stage, and Donald Trump and the MAGA base don't want that.
And very briefly in the time we have left, Tyler, I think it's so striking. We have the president who tried to get a nuclear deal with Iran, who tried to get Netanyahu not to launch attacks, and yet here we are, no nuclear deal. Attacks have been launched. What does this say about the president standing on the world stage?
Yeah, I think it has very much challenged his ability to get things done, and in part because the messaging coming from him and the White House is contradictory and confusing. So world leaders don't exactly know what to predict, and it shows that world leaders are often deciding to go at it alone or forming and forging new alliances with partners that they may not have relied on in the past because America had more stability. And so I think that is a concern for allies as they move forward.
Well, that is a great point. But unfortunately, lots more to talk about. But we're going to have to leave it there for now.